Hello, thank you for watching this video. This is produced by Adaptivation for the 2020 Closing the Gap conference. My name is John Eckrich. I'm the president for Adaptivation. I'm here with Lori Dahlquist, our speech educator. We are going to show you a demonstration of our sequencer communication device, the randomizer communication device, and the medley. So Lori, why don't you go ahead?
All right, here we go. This is very informal, guys. Want to show you all the features of our sequencer, which is our main sequential messaging device. Sequential messaging, as you know, is you record in a series of messages, and with each activation, it plays back those messages in the order you recorded them. So there's lots of fun things you can do with sequential messaging. In fact, under resources on our website, there is a handout on 100 ways to incorporate sequential messaging. Just want to talk briefly about the features of the device because it makes it a lot more versatile than people think at just first glance. It has 2 levels. Each level has approximately 90 seconds of record time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think of a 1-minute television commercial and everything that can get said, it's quite a bit of record time. They are totally independent, the levels, and so you can record 2 activities, change one, not have to change the other. The thing about the sequencer, in recording your messages, you do have to record them all at once. If you need to change a message, you need to re-record the whole sequence. And we'll talk about how that's different in some of the other devices. But in this device, that's how it works. I want to show you how simple it is to record. We have a slide switch. And it says play 1, play 2, record 1, record 2. I'm going to record in level 2. So I'm going to slide to level 2. And then you press and hold. When you press, there's going to be a beep. And you want to wait to start talking until that beep is done. That beep was put in there specifically for recording because we tended to start to talk as we pressed and chopped off a lot of the beginnings of messages. So that beep is very helpful. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to play.
1, 2, 3.
So you can see it's just that simple. I've had kids in preschool be able to record these devices. So they're very simple that way, but there are some other features on this device that are really fun. We can add an external switch, and we can do that for kids who need a head switch. So we can add like our honeybee proximity switch if it's someone who cannot hit the top. Any other kinds of switch can go in here, but including our traction pads will work with this device. But I want to show you some fun ways that people don't always think of for using the PAL pad. So here is our flat switch. I have put, when you plug that into the switch output on the sequencer, now pushing this switch
1, 2, 3.
is just like pushing the top. So we can bypass the top and just use this. As you can see here, I put this in the back of a book.
1.
So now they can access the pages of this book simply by pressing on the page. Because this is a large switch, basically no matter where they push, they will activate it. I have pre-recorded some of the pages of this book into level 1, so I'm going to change to level 1. Now we're going to read the story.
A dolphin and a fish are not the same. They do not look the same. They do not feel feel the same. They do not breathe the same.
I could easily record this whole book with time to spare. So that's just an easy thing that we can do. So this is one of the most popular activities done with the combination of the sequencer and the PalPad. Now, we have different sizes of PalPads, so I could put in this size, the mini size, and you can see on the pages I have a sticker, so that tells the kids
A
where to
dolphin and a
push.
fish are not the same.
So again, you change what you're working on by the size of the switch and by the messages you record. I could record the rhyming words of a story. I could record a single message like turn the page. The sequencer and the randomizer that we'll talk about can both be used as a single message device too. So if you just record one message, that's all it's going to play over and over. Another fun feature is the relay out jack. And on this one, what you can do is you can add through a cable connector. This is your cable connector. I'll put one end in here and the other into any kind of battery operated device that I want to run. And it will run the length of the message. I like this because many of the kids that I've worked with don't seem to, they hit their switch, but then they don't really seem to pay attention to what the message is or know that they're talking and that while they're talking, they need to look at their listener. So we can give them a nice visual for that. So now,
they do not look the same.
You see how that light stays on the
They
length
do
of
not
the message?
feel the same.
That's really a nice visual cue. You can also make it fun. I will show you that a little later. I mean, this is just a great visual for them. But we'll show you how to incorporate that into something a little more fun. I also want to talk about recording this device. You saw me record. I want you to compare level 2 recording. Whoop, just a minute. I have to re-record. 1, 2, 3.
1,
At the end of those messages,
2,
you hear kind of a clunk. Compare that to level 1.
a dolphin and a fish are not the same.
Oh, the message at the end is much clearer. I want you to listen again. Here's level 2.
1, 2. A dolphin and a fish are not the same.
The reason for the difference is I recorded the messages in level 1 using the PalPad. When you record by just pressing, it actually is recording the release of that, or if you used a switch that was a click, it would record that click at the end. So because the PalPads are flat and have no moving parts, it really cleans up the recording. So if you're planning ahead and you can pre-record things before you use it, easy to do with a PalPad. On the fly, you may not have a PalPad available and you might have to just settle for the clunk at the end, but just know that you can kind of clean up that recording that way. The randomizer looks the same in shape and has a lot of the same features. We can plug in a switch. We have the opportunity to do the relay. And oh, and I forgot, on both of the devices, there's also a jack for an external speaker. And so if you're in a noisy environment, let's say they're using it in a play or something, you may need to plug in that external speaker and give it the volume a little more oomph there. I have found that useful as we're doing Zooms. I have some kids I Zoom with that I'm having a hard time hearing their device, and so we're going to look at, does that external speaker help in just them telling things to their classmates during Zoom. The randomizer, in contrast, when you record a message, you record a series of messages, just like you do on the sequencer, but it will play them back in random order. And on ours, we have 2 different levels, and the levels play back in a different manner. In level 1, it's truly random. So when we're playing Duck, Duck, Goose, I can go on. It will eventually say goose.
And one thing I wanted to point out with this, when we're playing Duck, Duck, Goose, right?
Yep.
So we don't want to get goose as often as we get duck. So I think I recorded the word duck in here like 3 times. And then the word goose once. So you only have, on average, a 25% chance of getting that goose.
Yeah.
Which is just a little trick.
Just a little trick. If it's only a couple messages, the one you want to appear or sound out more often is the one you're going to record more often. Now, in level 2, it's called gamer mode, and it will play all the messages in random order once and won't do them again until all of them have been said once. So for like bingo, let's say you don't want the message B1 to repeat 10 times like goose did or duck did. We want it to say it once and then not say it again until all of them have been said. So that is level 2. So you have some flexibility that way. So for example, again, I'm going to show you using that external switch. We can add a fun visual cue. There was goose. I also wanted to just quickly show you another device that has the capability of both sequencing and randomizing. This is the Medley. The Medley has a keypad.
Hello, this is a Medley.
So we can do it that way, but it also has a jack, one for sequencing, one for randomizing. So now as I plug in my switch, using this switch is like pressing the top. So it's going to go in order.
Move to purple.
There it is.
Go to black. Green.
And then with random, I'm going to move my switch to the random jack.
Blue.
Blue.
Move to purple.
Move to purple.
Blue.
Blue.
Move to orange.
Move to orange. So you can see, you can use it. Now the advantage of this device is that I can have a visual cue for each of the messages, where in the sequencer you have a visual cue that represents the entire sequence, not the individual steps. Here I can do that. On this one, I'm limited to 8 messages. Here I'm only limited by time. But here I can re-record a random message. So if I want to just change what it says about yellow, I can re-record just that square, not have to record the whole sequence like on here. And so there's pros and cons to each one. And so you just need to use what you think works best. Thank you.